My next guest is going to be making his debut for PFL coming up here on May 23rd. He's got a tough opponent right out of the gate, the former champ, Lance Palmer, I should say the current champ. It is Alex Gilpin back here on the program. Alex, how are you?
I'm good, James. How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, but not as good as you, though. You have a chance to win $1 million here. I think this is such a great opportunity. Tell me how this all came together, and when did you find out you were part of the PFL season?
Man, so after my last fight, I was sidelined for a little bit. Then was kind of waiting on a short notice call from the UFC. And that wasn't happening for a couple months. My manager reached out a couple different organizations. Ray Seppo finally got them, said we're in, and here we are.
And did you keep an eye on the tournament last year just in case you ended up getting in this?
Not maybe during the playoffs a little bit. Definitely during the finals, I watched those. But throughout the whole season, no, not really.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's a new organization. I didn't even know about it until I knew there were World Series of Fighting before, but as far as the whole PFL tournament and the format, no, that was new to me. So just found out about that when the finals were going on.
How does training differ with the fact this is a regular season and you're going to be fighting so close together? Do you have to do anything differently for that?
Not really. You just got to be ready to fight at all times. And I mean, to be honest, I feel like it's tougher to be ready to fight on 4 days' notice than to have all your dates laid out for you ahead of time like that. I like it. I'm surprised nobody's done this format before, and I think it's awesome, and I think it'll help grow the sport.
Yeah, I think people are really excited about the format and the big bonus, which is that this is going to be on ESPN. Did you find that sponsors have been more on board now because of being on that big platform?
Yeah, a little bit. And I don't have the biggest name, and then obviously ESPN will be good exposure for the business. But yeah, whenever they found out about the ESPN thing, I was getting reached out to left and right, which is awesome, man.
Okay, that's great. Lance Palmer, we know what he does. He's got exceptional wrestling. He's got some good striking as well. How do you feel like your skill set matches up against his in this fight?
Man, I think it's great. I love this matchup. And I know he's an elite level wrestler and all that. Honestly, I've looked up to the dude since I first got into the sport. I mean, more so earlier in my career, but watched him wrestle, watched his early fights. Since finding out I'm fighting him, obviously I watched the rest of his. But yeah, man, I feel like I have a toolbox that will give this guy problems, and I can't wait to showcase that. I see him best out of me. So.
Well, and I was going to say, for a lot of people, fighting the current champ right out of the gate is kind of a bummer. But I think in your case, what's kind of interesting is if you get this win, I mean, no offense to the rest of the competitors here, but that's like a huge hurdle to overcome, like right off the bat. While you're not, banged up or anything like that, do you feel like that's a bit of an advantage?
Yeah, honestly, and I don't want to make my entry any other way. Why not make a nice aggressive entry, main event, win over the champ? So.
Yeah. No, I think it's a great opportunity here. Training camp, who have been some of your main training partners for this upcoming fight?
So the guys with Chosen Few I've been with, let's see, names. Mark Lemminger, Alex Politi, Dante Sciro, some other guys we got. I did a little bit beginning of camp. I spent a little time in Texas with Ohana, so Alex Hernandez, Ray Rodriguez, I'm sure you're familiar with. Yep. Some of those other Ohana guys too.
Okay, that's good. So a little bit of cross-training, which is nice. How about the cut? How's everything going ahead of this fight? I mean, we got a couple of weeks away, but I imagine the cut's going well.
Yeah, right on track now. Like I said, I was sidelined after this last fight. My weight was up there for a little bit, but man, yeah, I'm good to go now. Weight's on track. So,
who's going to be in the cage with you that night? Who's going to be in your corner?
Josh Sterry, Damian Decora, and Kane Rizzo. So, yeah.
How do you see this fight playing out? Do you see it going the distance? Because Lance is a pretty tough guy to finish, or do you feel like you can go in there and finish him within the within the 3 rounds?
Yeah, I know I can beat this guy. I know I could finish him. I'm gonna go with a finish inside the first 15 minutes. So, if it goes the distance though, and whatever happens in there, if I have to make this a war, if it has to be bloody, I don't mind getting messy. I see myself getting the job done.
Okay.
Getting the win, so.
Aside from Lance, aside from yourself, who do you think is one of the tougher fights in the season, in the playoffs, everything like that? I'm sure you've glanced a little bit at the roster.
Yeah, honestly, I don't. The roster is pretty stacked, man. I know Harrison's tough. He's pretty tough dude, matchup wise. Some of those Brazilian guys are pretty tough too. To be honest, I don't know all the names just yet. Focus more on Lance Palmer at this point, but the whole roster is good, man. They're not bringing in bums,
No, that's what's so cool about it. And these fights are high quality. I mean, like your fight easily could be in the UFC. That's the cool thing. Like, so we're getting to see this. And what I like too is that, I was saying this to Chris Curtis the other day because, he was kind of snubbed by the UFC. The focus is on you guys. Like, if you were in the UFC, you probably would have been on the prelims. So in some ways, this is kind of a better scenario where, the focus is on you guys and the regular season because, people are going to be counting up those points, for who's getting in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, this fight has fireworks written all over it. And, man, I'm excited.
What's downtime looking like for you right now as far as, taking your mind off everything during camp?
Man, looking at houses with my girlfriend, that's a time consuming thing. Obviously training's a priority, but, yeah, doing that, watching TV or just, yeah, hanging out with my cats.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, that's I always like the cat updates on Instagram. What are you watching right now on Netflix? Anything interesting or on TV? Anything cool you're getting into?
Not very consistent with Netflix. I'm just throwing random things on, and honestly, I'm not.
Yeah, nothing too. You're not dedicated to a show. That's understandable.
No, all this hype with Game of Thrones, I might hop on at some point. I tried watching a long time ago, but you kind of throw something on before you're going to bed. You're kind of drifting off. You're not really all in on what's going on. But yeah, no, not really any specific series or movies. I just random stuff I'm throwing on.
If you won the $1 million, what would you do with the money?
First, pay off student loans I got. Pay off the house. Probably buy some dumb stuff. I made a joke about it, but I'm just kind of serious. Buy a nice cat tree for my cats.
Yeah, that's important. They like it. I mean,
yeah,
when we moved, we got my cat a really nice tower, and he couldn't be happier now. So,
man, I was at the pet store the other day, and there was one for like $500, and it was like probably like 12 feet tall, and I'm like, that looked kind of nice.
That's good. And they'd appreciate it too. They'd be more affectionate, like all that stuff. It's a give and take thing. Like if you give a little bit to them, they'll reciprocate. That's what I find anyway. So
yeah. And
you should see how much happier my cat is. Like we moved into a house from a condo, and he's way happier. Like he's a different cat than we was when we were living in Toronto. It was crazy.
Yeah. And we've been in a pretty small apartment the last couple of years. So yeah, it'll be nice to get a house, get them their little house, and other than that, I probably invest it and save some before I spend it on a bunch of stupid stuff. No, you kind of got to be wise with your money. It goes quick.
And you were certainly wise to take part in this upcoming season for PFL. I can't wait for this fight. What a banger this is going to be right off the bat. You and Lance Palmer. It's coming up here May 23rd on ESPN. Alex, just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
So pretty much the same: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Alex Gilpin MMA. Shout out to my sponsors here, Alpha Tile and Stone, representing the shirt here. Angel Parcel and Logistics, Kearns Motor Car out of Johnsons Creek, Wisconsin. The Scrap News, that you go to, Combat Source, if you haven't heard of it. And then Sups. So, yeah, just shout out to my gym, Chelsea View Gym. Got a good feeling you're going to be interviewing some of these guys soon. And, we're kind of just a bunch of no names right now, but we're coming out of the woodwork and we're gonna wreak some havoc. So